Hey, thanks for stopping by the Reaction Lounge. My name is Eric Wilford Watson.
And I'm Steve. Welcome to the lounge, guys. Do us a favor before we get on this topic, because I don't want to say it's a hot topic, but it's more relevant than some of our other stuff. Make sure you grab a drink, grab a cigar if you want to, and hit that subscribe button nice and early.
Just don't hit the subscribe button with the cigar.
No, probably not. Probably not a very good idea.
idea.
What we want to talk about today is antiheroes. The guys that aren't really good guys, technically, but they're not really bad guys, technically.
Sort of a not nice guy protagonist.
But they do bad things for the right reasons.
Or
technically.
Maybe-ish. Morally gray.
Morally gray is probably the best thing, technically.
They wouldn't consider themselves the villains necessarily, maybe.
But I don't think but society doesn't deem them as the good guys either. So let's talk some examples before we go in depth. We're talking about people like Punisher. We're talking about people like Red Hood. Talking about people like Spawn, Ghost Rider, just to name a couple of the kind of idea what like an anti-hero goes.
Probably the most famous current one is Deadpool.
Yeah, that's actually fair. I never really threw him in that category, but yeah, you're absolutely right. Deadpool would definitely qualify as an anti-hero. So anti-heroes, very, very popular because they are the prospective good guy who doesn't necessarily abide by the same code that all of our righteous white knight heroes maybe do. Killing is absolutely on the table 9 times out of 10. And a lot of people make that argument, well, Superman will kill people. Like, he's got lasers and, whatever the case is. Batman has his code, technically.
Which he has broken. Batman could be considered an anti-hero, depending upon the iteration.
I think he really could, especially with, like, the fear and everything that he incorporates in. But they go about their mission by any means possible. And really, if you get in their way, they're going to make sure that you are they're going to move you or remove you. Who's your favorite anti-hero?
Well, there's so many to choose from, but I'm a big fan of the Suicide Squad.
Fair. Okay.
That's probably the whole team up of anti-heroes. They're doing the outcome makes things better, but a lot of shit gets destroyed and a lot of people get killed.
I cherish peace with all my heart. I don't care how many men, women, and children I need to kill to get it.
Perhaps unnecessarily along the way, but at the end of the day, things are better for it.
Yeah. I think my favorite might have to be, I love Red Hood. And I think depending on who you talk to, Red Hood might be more of a bad guy.
I thought you were going to go Spawn.
So here's the thing. Spawn I love, but the small tangent here. I love Ghost Rider and I love Spawn for the same reasons. And you take someone who is in a really bad situation and they make a deal with, in their case, is the devil. And they get these crazy powers to go and then go on a revenge type mission. That I find the mentality of you got to that point to make that kind of a deal. I find the psychosis behind those two fascinating. From a Gizmos and Gadgets perspective, I love Red Hood because he, at the end of the day, is just a dude, just like Batman. He is just a dude.
Yeah, and if we're going to focus on comics, the reason I like the anti-hero, especially a powered anti-hero, is you can sort of live vicariously a little bit of dark fantasy. How many times have you, like, in the back of your mind, you just have this thought, I just love to smack that son of a bitch. But you don't, because A, you don't want to go to prison. B, you don't want to be that guy. And C, you kind of know you shouldn't. But it's fun to watch people that don't have those filters just do shit that you almost wish you could do yourself.
You almost could use it as like an uplifting situation. Like, I could have smacked the shit out of that guy, but I'm the hero in my story, so I didn't.
A fantastic anti-hero story, and I don't want to say too much about it because I know this is one of the few DC things you have not seen yet, but Joker. Joaquin Phoenix's Joker is a quintessential anti-hero.
Okay.
You understand, without going into spoilers, you experience life through his eyes.
Okay.
You see the world around not really giving a shit about you. You see the darkness of the world around you, and you just absorb into that. And there's a sequence in the movie where he kills a person, and you're glad that he does.
Really?
And you know you shouldn't be glad that he's killing this guy, but you're glad that he's killing this guy.
Okay.
It kind of brings you into his mentality. So that is excellent.
And that's a really unique take on the telling of the antihero, because I think a lot of them focus on that perspective of keeping you as like the third party observing from everyone's normal point of view. And you're like, well, they just killed 15 people. I get it, but did it really have to happen? Taking a storytelling perspective of really bringing you in to make you walk that train of thought with him, that is awesome. I need to watch this movie.
Yeah, I can't believe you haven't. But you even dressed up as him for Halloween.
Yeah, I'm surprised you remember that. Yeah, that was the amount.
It's just because you had a suit that looked like that suit.
Yeah, and that makeup was horrible to get out of my beard. I spent, I kid you not, 45 minutes just trying to get it out of my beard, and it didn't fully get out. It was bad, people. It was bad. If you're going to become an anti-hero like Joker, facial hair needs to just go bye-bye.
It's funny. On my other channel, Hugh Frank and I did a video where we put on old people makeup, and back then I was dyeing my beard dark, and we started pretending to be old, so I dyed my beard that was dyed dark. I put white dye in, which just struck me as silly.
It's a little silly.
And then I put on this white-haired wig and glasses. We did like old men voice. We were doing a review of a book guy's been writing a sequel to a book for about 20 years, and it's always just about to come out. So we did a review from the year 2070 something, where we're all old man and the book finally came out.
Why don't we go through the timeline of how things just progress? Oh, my pancreas hurts.
I like this kind of a under the radar movie. It got a little bit of press at the time because it was sort of controversial because the guy was being an anti-hero in the movie.
Okay.
Death Wish, the remake of Death Wish starring Bruce Willis.
Oh, okay.
Somebody attacks his family, and then he goes on a murder rampage, killing the people that attacked his family.
But you're not going to kill me. No, jackass.
And they're talking about, gun rights issues and stuff like that in the movie, and some people perceive the movie as right-wing, but I love the movie just because you just get to watch Bruce Willis murder the fuck out of people for 2 hours. And it's great.
Yep. They did a John Wick, I guess technically could fall into that same anti-hero thing. He murdered 70 some odd people in the first movie over a puppy.
We just did a kill count on our Extraction video. John Wick, I forgot about the puppy murder. Now, I love dogs, but you shouldn't go on a murder rampage because of your dog.
Man, I was actually shocked with that kill count that John Wick was not the victor in that. I actually shed a small tear. Speaking of the Bruce Willis movie, there was another one that came out, Michael B. Jordan, I believe. Oh, what was it called? It was the same thing. He was some kind of a military operator. Something went wrong with his operation. People snuck in, killed his whole family. They thought they killed him. He did not. The whole movie is him hunting them down. And it was without remorse.
Oh, yeah. I'm familiar with it. I don't think I've seen it, but I know what you're talking about.
And it's interesting because you get a lot of those movies where, from a militaristic perspective, you kind of get this anti-hero vibe. And I think a lot of that comes with the popularity of something like Punisher, where, same thing, Frank Castle. I don't know if it was the cartel, the mafia, something like that, went through, killed his family. He survived, and he's like, nope. And then he dons the Punisher. Yeah,
and there's a sequence where he's trying to teach Daredevil that being good and not killing people is stupid, so he chains him up and tapes a gun to his hand. And he's like, that's just so awesome. Just the different characters. I guess both could be perceived as anti-heroes, but Daredevil is definitely closer to the hero than the anti-hero, although he's technically breaking the law.
Right.
But Punisher just straight up murders bad guys.
Correct.
And the last shot of the second season of that is just him with 2 fully automatic rifles in each hand with a bunch of drug dealing gang members in front of him. And that's how the show ends, where he just legit is doing a mass shooting, but he's the character you're supposed to be rooting for.
John Bernthal, I think, was the smartest casting decision for Punisher that I have seen in a very long time, aside from, I think it was the 90s or the early 2000s version, and I always forget this actor's name. It's the one that had
talking Punisher movie?
The Punisher movie.
Okay, not the Dolph Lundgren one.
No, not Warzone.
Okay.
Warzone was horrible. I don't do this often, but if you like Punisher Warzone, just stop. There's better films out there.
No, subscribe and make and quote that movie in every comment of every video we make from now on.
No, but the one that has what is that actor's name? The bad guy in that one, is a famous actor too, and I am blanking on his name. But anyway, you know which one I'm talking about. I think that was a fantastic film as well, especially the narrative of as he starts to get neighbors and he starts to get friends that kind of make him think like, oh, life maybe can move on, and then he sucks back and he's like, I've got to go back to my mission. John Travolta. Okay. And it is just a wonderfully done character. Absolutely love the Punisher. Deadpool, yeah, same kind of a bit. I mean, he breaks all sorts of laws and all sorts of codes, ethics. He makes fun of everyone's codes and ethics as he does it, which just makes Deadpool even more of an enjoyable character.
One of my favorite anti-heroes of all time goes into the literary world, although there was a live-action adaptation, which is Reacher. I adore the Reacher character, especially in the books. Now, I love Alan Ritchson's character, his actor portrayal of Reacher. But in the books, he's even more of an anti-hero. He'll be straight up murdering people in that. Okay. He has a set of morals. In his mind, he's doing the right thing. Yep. But sometimes the right thing is committing a cold-blooded murder without any remorse.
Yep. I absolutely agree. I think that as a personal take of my own, I think as filmmaking continues to go on, be it feature-length films, be it series, whatever the case is, I really want to see more anti-heroes make appearances, and not just from the military perspective, because I think in some way we all kind of justify that when it comes to military individuals or military background individuals. But I want to see more superheroes with that gray zone. I think that there is a complexity to the story. I think there's a complexity to the acting that can go within it, the performance itself, that viewers can relate to a little bit more. It makes them more down to earth.
The opposite of Superman, basically. Is what
I actually hate Superman with every fiber of my being. He's right in there he's in the same category as Tom Brady for me, honestly, for all you sports fans. He's too flippin' perfect. You look great. You're super talented. Your bullets can't kill you. You got laser vision. You got a cute girlfriend. You got a steady job. We get it. You're perfect.
Enough! You're adorable.
What are you gonna do, sweetie? Burn us with your magic eyes?
You look good in your underwear. Whatever. Off. It was really awesome seeing, and back to my thing with Red Hood. Sorry to kind of loop that all back around. I think seeing Red Hood's story was especially, I liked it a lot because he went from being Robin. He was trained by Batman. He followed the same code as Batman. And then when Batman couldn't get to him in time, and Joker got him, and Joker killed Jason Todd, right? So Joker sent him the torture video and the whole 9 yards, and Batman thought he was dead. And he mourned him, and then he found a replacement Robin. And then for Jason Todd to come back and be like, that wasn't good enough for you to finally kill Joker. That wasn't good enough for you. And he took it into his own hands that I'm going to be better than you now, and I will make these people permanently pay. And I think that the fall from hero to anti-hero, but not quite full villain, I think was such an amazing story, especially in that universe.
Peacemaker is a great villain, or a great anti-hero. Have you seen the Peacemaker TV show?
The one with John Cena?
Yeah.
I have not, actually.
There's a sequence in there.
I can't get over the toilet bowl head. I can't get past it.
His helmet?
Yeah, it looks like a toilet bowl.
He's a great anti-hero. He actually makes fun of Batman in that.
You see, Batman doesn't kill people.
Because he's a pussy!
He's a dark creature of the night.
He's a jackass!
He's like, how many people do you think are dead now because Batman wouldn't kill the bad guy?
Riddle me this. How many people you think Batman's indirectly murdered by being too much of a candy ass not to kill these fools who clearly need to be smoked once and for all?
Jason Todd brings that up a couple of times too, actually. Yep, absolutely.
The new DC universe is going to be rolled out very soon, and we're going to get the Authority, which is a superhero team of anti-heroes.
Larger story of the DCU. Next is a big movie called The Authority. The Authority is a passion project of mine. It's based on the marvelous Wildstorm characters we are now bringing into the DCU and will interact with all of our primary DCU characters. The Authority are a group of superheroes who think the world is broken and they want to fix it by any means necessary.
They're superpowered guys that want to do the right thing, but they don't really give a shit about collateral damage.
Interesting.
And that could be something to look forward to.
Based on that description alone, absolutely.
I never read the comics. I'm a DC Comics fan, but I never really read The Authority.
Okay.
I kind of knew they exist. That's about it. But reading up on them since they made that announcement, I'm really excited to see what they do with that.
Interesting. And I mean, then you go just to touch, because we touched base on this character previously, just to add him here into the conversation. You talk about going to the extremes, and you look at someone like Ghost Rider, who you get to a point where he's got this nuke-all weapon in his arsenal called his penance stare, where he can make you feel every wrong that you've ever committed and burn your soul from the inside out. I don't think it can get much more intense than that. Yeah.
Okay,
leave that there.
Here's a DC anti-hero, Lucifer.
Oh, the guy himself?
Literally Satan. I'm
glad you didn't lead with that one, because I don't know that it gets much more than that.
Could it be Satan?
Could it be Satan?
No, I had to stop watching that show at some point because I couldn't root for the literal devil. I'm a Christian, but there's the opening sequence. One of the openings. I don't know if it's the opening sequence, but it's early in the first episode where a cop pulls the devil over.
You break a little sometimes, don't you?
And the devil tempts the cop. It's like, oh, come on, don't you like to be naughty sometimes?
Sometimes. Put my siren on and drive really fast for no reason at all. Just because I can.
Right? Why wouldn't you? It's fun.
And it's just great. And the devil just knows exactly what this cop is. You know, he's like, you go really fast with the lights on when you're not really going anywhere just because you can. And he gets out of his speeding ticket that way.
Yep.
And I thought that was fantastic. He's like taking a break from being the devil in hell and helps a cop solve murders, which is kind of weird. But, like I said, I had to stop watching it because I couldn't root for the literal devil.
Yeah.
But that was, talk about an anti-hero. He's like literally the epitome of.
I think I watched like half the season and half the first season of that. But no, I get what you mean. I mean, yeah, you can't put.
I think that's a line where you can go too far with the anti-hero because there has to be some redeeming quality.
Correct.
Where you don't just consider the guy a straight up villain.
Correct.
And then I don't know where that line is exactly. I guess it could be different for different people.
Yeah, I think I go back to someone like Red Hood, right? And for him, it was putting the bad guys permanently out of commission. So you talk about like Joker. He was like, Joker needs to die because, to your previous point, how many other people have died or their families have died because of the acts that Joker did? So his mindset is, if I kill Joker, he's officially out of commission. That's one death to save however many lives. And I think when you can I think that's typically the scale. I think Punisher's in that same kind of a thing. Ghost Rider's in a similar. Ghost Rider tends to deal with more demons and stuff though too. Or you said Peacemaker kind of follows in that same thing with his jokes towards Batman. I think that's kind of where my line usually is with it.
Another more comedic anti-hero. If this is sort of a deep cut. I'd be very surprised if you know about this movie, but Quick Change, starring Bill Murray. Not at all surprised. You have no clue what this is. It's a movie where Bill Murray is sort of fed up and disgruntled with living in New York, and he gets a team together and robs a bank while dressed as a clown with a bomb strapped to his chest.
Does this also have Morgan Freeman in it?
No.
Oh, all right.
But he, the whole movie centers around him trying to get away with his bank robbery, and with him, when they leave the bank, trying to get to the airport and all that stuff, and there's the cops that are chasing them.
Yep.
But you're really rooting for this bank robber to get away with his crime the entire movie.
Will you rob a bank with me?
I will.
Completely centered on you rooting for him to get away with it.
I got 3 more minutes.
We're closed, bozo.
Let's not.
I mean, John Dillinger kind of falls into that same thing. Robin Hood kind of falls into that same kind of a category also. I think I think the big thing is it's just what's the motive is ultimately what is going to decide, are you a villain or are you an anti-hero? And I think that's wonderful, because if it's written correctly, it should make you question at some point, are you the bad guy?
Yeah.
I think that's what, that last second, there's that redeeming quality, like, okay, maybe you're not all that bad.
Well, with that please hit that like and subscribe button. Unless you're completely goody two-shoes, where everything's perfect, you look good in your underwear, you have laser eyes, you fly.
Talking to you, Clark.
Hey, if your name is Clark Kent and you're from Kansas, don't subscribe. But anybody else, feel free.
Thanks for stopping by the lounge, guys. Until next time, have a good one.
Cheers.